Well, CJ, thanks so much for your time, sir. Good talking to you again.
Oh, great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Now, you had a piece of the Daily Caller yesterday talking about a new piece of legislation authored by North Carolina Senator Richard Burr, along with Senator Jim Webb, I believe, from Virginia as well. And it's a really serious issue. I mean, we're talking about more than 100,000 military veterans that may be improperly denied or stripped of their right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, what the legislation is seeking to do, well, what's happening is that if you receive VA benefits, if you're a military veteran, and the VA assigns you a fiduciary or someone to handle your VA benefits because you are no longer able to, they submit the veteran's name to the NCIS, the FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check, and then that person is no longer allowed to purchase a firearm because they're deemed mentally defective. And under the Brady Act, you're not allowed to buy a handgun if you're adjudicated to be mentally defective. And Senator Burr estimates that there's up to 114,000 veterans who have been reported to the NICS and are now unable to purchase firearms.
Wow. And again, you know, the law requires that you are adjudicated mentally defective, and that requires a court hearing. This doesn't require, you know, it sounds like this is a decision by the VA that is in essence taking the place of a court decision.
Yeah, the VA has a review process for this, and in their defense, they also have several steps that if a veteran feels that this, you know, that the board was incorrect, they can appeal this and go through several different processes. So they're trying to redress this, but yeah, the legislation would make this, you had to go through an official court or adjudication process rather than a VA review board.
And I thought it was interesting. You had a quote from a VA spokesman who said, quote, although the Veterans Administration has admittedly been slow in implementing this relief program, we now have relief procedures in place. We're fully committed going forward to implement this program in a timely and effective manner. So they say that on the one hand, they've got this relief program in place, but they also say it's not really in place. And going forward, they'll put it in place as soon as they can.
Yeah, and so they're admitting that this it hasn't been perfect at all, and you know it's good that they're trying to improve on this, or at least they say they are. But you know, that might be cold comfort if you are improperly, you know, if they decide that you are mentally defective and no longer eligible to buy a handgun. And one thing is, I mean, if you receive Social Security benefits and you have an assigned fiduciary or someone who handles your Social Security benefits, you're not reported to the NICS. And you know, so it's a little bit odd in that sense.
Yeah, and it sounds like this legislation, and I understand a version of this has passed the House this week. I mean, it really sounds like it just wants to try to restore the same procedures for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically making an even playing field there for veterans, because you know it's one thing to say that you know a lot of people have trouble handling their finances, especially if you know they have some issues, say a military veteran with some issues. But you know I have trouble balancing my checkbook. I'm horrible with my budget. I don't know if that means that my Second Amendment rights should be taken away.
Well, no, and again, I mean, as you say, the VA's review process for assigning a fiduciary determines veterans' ability to manage their finances, not whether they're a danger to themselves or others. Those are two very distinct and separate issues, and I really don't think that one should supplant the other. And it sounds, again, like there are a lot of members of Congress who don't think that that should be the case either.
Yeah, and this, the one sponsor is a Republican. The second co-sponsor is a Democrat. So I think there's some bipartisan support on this. So hopefully we'll see some more progress on it. It did pass the House, but it has been languishing in Congress for several years now. There's been several versions of it that just never really got anywhere.
Well, let's hope that this year things are a little bit different. I know that it's tough to get a bill through both chambers of Congress right now, but maybe with some bipartisan help we can get it done. And CJ, again, really appreciate you coming on the program, sir. It's great talking to you today.
Oh, great talking to you. Thanks for having me, Cam.
You bet. CJ Ciaramella joining us from the Daily Caller here on NRAnews.com and SiriusXM Patriot.